Well, that is already the final segment of today's Price of Business, and enjoyed this Monday. And I hope you all enjoyed your weekend. And a lot of people probably did some sports activity and checking out what's happening out there in the sports environment and just life in general. And I thought we'd have a little powwow with some of the guys here at the Price of Business. We've got Dan Shedd and Sigmund Kramer. And it's going to be kind of an informal conversation. What an interesting thing to do. Mondays seem so intense, I don't know, kind of uptight, especially on radio. So I thought we'd have a casual conversation. But I thought we'd begin on a sad note. You know, over the weekend, I guess it was Thursday night, we discovered that that Robin Williams ended up having Parkinson's. We learned about that as part of his problem that may have played a role. Of course, there's rumors of bankruptcy, but, you know, guys like that, they can do 2 or 3 horrible movies, and guys like him will get rehired to do horrible movies and eradicate their financial problems rather quickly. He had the kind of star power. I don't know if he could ever ruin his career with too many bad movies. I don't know, because just how talented he is. He made scenes in the RV even seem entertaining, and that was pretty hard to do. But I was curious, you guys' thoughts on, what kind of role this might have played in that tragic situation. Sigmund?
I don't think there's any doubt that when you have Parkinson's, when you get a diagnosis of that and you start dealing with the symptoms, one of them is personality change. One of them is depression. And oftentimes couples who have been married for many years, very devoted couples, end up getting divorced later on in life because one of the members of that couple has Parkinson's and their personality changes, and the other, the spouse cannot handle it. And there's also kind of a shared depression because you hate watching your spouse going down the tubes, and so I don't know how it couldn't have been very serious at this point. He couldn't have been very far along because we definitely would have seen or heard of those symptoms, before now. Yeah.
One of the things about Parkinson's is a decline in dopamine, and dopamine is really part of that stuff that makes us all happy or not.
Well,
and so it's going to have not only the symptoms itself are obviously depressing, but the literal lack of dopamine will create that.
How ironic that he played in the movie Awakenings, where he played the doctor who had been doing research about dopamine and L-Dopa, and made all those strides in patient care with things like Parkinson's, and it's just an amazing irony that he would end up having such a disease as a demyelinating disease as Parkinson's.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I want to ask you guys to bring a topic to discussion, so get on your toes here. How about you, Dan? What do you think about this revelation about Robin Williams?
Well, of course, it's sad. It's really sad to hear that he had, early stages of Parkinson's, and then, what happened. So he probably couldn't deal with it, When you have, such a great thing going on, and then you have something stop you in your tracks like that, it can really just debilitate you. And I wish he had help for that, but unfortunately he did not. So it's just really sad to see and hear.
Yeah, no question about it. How about you, Sigmund, as far as a topic, something that caught your interest? You always have something that is either mildly entertaining, if not irritating. What you got for us?
Well, kind of I've been very mean about David Gregory and his real downward spiral at NBC with Meet the Press and Meet the Depressed, as some people call it. And, he actually had a psychologist paid for by the company to go meet with him, and this was a while ago. But his numbers have never been good. The ratings have been tanking, and now it's been announced that he's been replaced. In fact, I believe Chuck Todd replaced him over the weekend, and I didn't watch it obviously, but it's I can't help but think that David Gregory needs to be on suicide watch at this point.
He sounds pretty depressed over this situation, and I've never been a Gregory fan myself. I think what's interesting about it, you talked about the psychiatrist. He wasn't there just to help Gregory. He was there to try to figure out from a psychological perspective why this guy didn't resonate.
Right, exactly. And it's so cynical of me, but I'm thinking, David Gregory, I hope you're paying attention to what happened to Robin Williams in the news and don't follow in his footsteps, because people are not going to immortalize you the way that they have Robin Williams. I promise you that.
Oh boy, that's pretty cruel.
I told you.
Do you have a comment on the coup, if you will, against David Gregory out there?
He's
Dan?
shaking his head. He's got nothing. He doesn't want a part of that one. How about Ferguson, Missouri?
No comment on that, huh, Dan?
Well, it's just, I think it's insane, just all the news coverage of that, and it's just, sad.
Come on, you got to have
the one or the Ferguson one.
It's
Ferguson. Yeah, Ferguson. You got to have more than that. What do you?
Well, and we weren't there, and apparently there was some weirdness going on, But the reality is that being a cop is a really tough job. And all of these people are coming out in full force, and criticism weren't there. And there's this, I don't know, I think more transparency by the city government would have been helpful. On the other hand, endangering city employees isn't unnecessarily a good idea. And there's reason to believe that cop could be endangered.
Of course he is.
On that, Sigmund?
Yeah, of course he is. I mean, Anonymous put out his name, and now the police department, the chief came out this last on Friday and said, what his name was. And here's the thing, forget about that. I'm talking about all the other stuff. I'm talking about the actual basic idea behind this, that police are really, quite frankly, overstepping their boundaries. They're too quick to act with deadly force, and unfortunately, it tends to come to a head in situations like this, where there's a perceived racial component. And it's only going to get worse, Kevin, because we've militarized our police to the point that, and some people are supportive of this. They think that our local law enforcement needs that militarization, the large, scale weaponry and assault vehicles and all this kind of stuff. But we're really, the idea of police officers who are supposed to walk the beat and interact with us being that militarized is frightening to a lot of people. And it's the sort of thing that they had to pull back from, if you noticed, in Ferguson. They brought the state troopers in, who were then intermingling with the crowds, and the violence really subsided, immediately, because there was not that perception of us against them. It's, hey, we're all here together in this community. We need to work together and not be violent, and let's get through this, and let's I hate to say it, like Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, let's hug it out.
Yeah. Okay, last point. You got anything for us, Dan?
I also heard on the news this morning that I think the police force in Missouri are trying to really, like Sigmund said, try and ease the tension and really involve the community in this and say, hey, we're not, out to get y'all. We're here for y'all. And so hopefully that'll ease all the stuff that's been going on, because we don't need any of this. We don't need all this violence. And, yeah.
Especially when it's perpetrated by the people who are supposed to protect and serve.
Right.
When that role gets somehow twisted and changed to one of, let's face it, it's kind of oppressive when the cop has basically a license to kill, and unfortunately does so with impunity, and sometimes the judgment is just not there. The lack of judgment is what's causing a lot of these issues, Kevin. And and I think that it does need to be addressed. I think that cops all over the country need to have a stern talking to about when to use deadly force and when not to. And there needs to be more situations where, there's restraint used.
Yeah, well, with all the militarization of the law enforcement, it makes it easier and easier for them not to be rational and not to engage with the citizenry.
I agree.
And so I think that's part of the problem. There was a movie I saw years ago. It was a comedy, and the police cars that said to protect and control. Not to protect and to serve, it's to protect and control. I wish I could remember what the name of the show was, but it was hilarious.
It wasn't Car 54, Where Are You, was it?
No, I don't think so. Got to wrap this up, gentlemen. Great time, great segment. Want to thank again Crashing Law Firm and the folks at Spicer, Kaplan, and Paselka for bringing us today's program. I'm Kevin Price. Have a great rest of your day. Spend it right here on this station.